Success isn't random. It follows a code. Welcome to the Conant Code, where we break down the strategies, challenge the myths, and uncover the truth in 5 minutes or less. Now, let's crack the code.
Sometimes success isn't about what you create. It's about what you discover when things go wrong. This story begins with a chemist. Not just any chemist, a brilliant one. His job? To create the next big thing in adhesives. Something powerful, something strong enough to hold industrial machinery or maybe even a spaceship together. He wanted to build the glue to end all glues. He spent months on it, experimenting, testing, tweaking the formula, and then one day, success. Well, almost. What he created wasn't a super strong adhesive at all. It was weak, pathetically weak, a glue that barely stuck to anything. Imagine using it to tape something down, only to have it fall off seconds later. Useless. For most people, that would have been the end. Pack it up, mark it a failure, and move on. But something about this weak adhesive gnawed at him. It was useless for building machines, sure, but it had this strange property. It stuck lightly and could be removed easily without leaving a mark. Weird, right? Not exactly what he was aiming for, but interesting enough to shelve it and think, maybe it'll be useful someday. And there it sat, collecting dust, forgotten. Years went by. Then a second chemist, someone working in the same lab, came along. He wasn't looking for a new adhesive. No, his problem was entirely different. You see, he sang in a church choir, and every week he'd mark the pages of his hymnal with little slips of paper to keep track of the songs. And every week, without fail, those slips of paper would fall out and scatter all over the floor. Frustrating, right? One day, after losing his place in the middle of rehearsal for what must have been the 100th time, he thought, there has to be a better way. And that's when he remembered the strange adhesive sitting on the shelf. He tried it. He coated the edge of a piece of paper with the weak glue, stuck it into his hymnal, and it worked. It stayed in place but peeled off easily without damaging the page. No mess, no residue. It wasn't just a bookmark. It was something completely new. Now, this was the kind of innovation that could have been dismissed as a clever hack, but this chemist saw potential. What if this wasn't just for bookmarks? What if it could be used to leave notes on desks, reminders on documents, temporary labels, practically anything? He made a few samples and passed them out around the office. Try these, he said. They're great for leaving notes. A few days later, people started coming back, not just asking for more, but demanding them. Suddenly, the office was covered in these little yellow notes. Desks, computer monitors, file cabinets, every surface seemed to have one stuck to it. A light bulb moment. This wasn't just a quirky invention. It was a solution people didn't even realize they needed until it was right in front of them. And just like that, the Post-it note was born. At first, the company wasn't entirely sold on it. After all, this wasn't the super strong adhesive they had set out to create. It was just convenient. But when they finally decided to test it in a few markets, something incredible happened. It flew off the shelves. People couldn't get enough of it. Today, over 50 billion Post-it notes are sold every year in more than 150 countries. Not bad for a product that wasn't supposed to exist. And here's the best part. This wasn't some master plan. There was no grand vision, no perfect strategy. It was a complete accident. A failed experiment that became a billion-dollar product because two people decided to look at failure differently. So, what's the takeaway? Simple. Not every failure is a dead end. Sometimes it's an opportunity in disguise. You just have to be curious enough and bold enough to ask, what else could this be? The greatest innovations often come from the moments where things don't go according to plan. You just have to be ready to see them when they happen. And that, my friends, is the Conant Code.
That's it for this episode of the Conant Code. If you got something out of it, share it with a friend, follow the show, and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. More insights, more strategies, and more code breaking coming soon. Until next time, keep thinking, keep building, and keep pushing forward.